Hi there, everyone. I wanted to drop in here and invite you into a conversation with my dear friend and sister, Kenlyn Kolleen. And we were just talking, we've known each other for about 10 years now and been through all kinds of things together. And we deeply love and respect each other's work and just who we are as people. And a lot of people in my community, she's also going to be sending this to her community, have asked me about my recent Genius report that I had with Kenlyn. And they've heard little bits and pieces about it and had all these questions. And so I thought, well, let's just have a conversation and talk about it to give people an idea of what this is like and how it's helpful, and to share some case studies and just really talk about this time on the planet, which you and I talk a lot about, to help to guide people during this time. I really wanted to do this because this is such a crazy time. 2025, oh my gosh, just kicked both of our butts and pretty much everyone else that I know. It's just such an intense time on the planet. And so I really feel like more than ever, this is the time to really come into the highest alignment with your soul's purpose and your divine essence. This is the time. It's like sink or swim. And this genius report that I did with Kenlyn was really kind of groundbreaking. And I do a lot of things, as you know, as I share with my community, I kind of take you guys along on the journey of what I'm doing. And this was pretty profound. So this is Kenlyn, my very dear friend and sister. I was trying to think of how to introduce you, and I came up with like, lawyer turned mystic was one of them. But you might know Kenlyn from her Divine Feminine Summit, which was back in 2022, and it was huge. It like blew up. I was honored enough to be one of the speakers. She had some pretty profound women on that series. And so a lot of my friends know Kenlyn from that series. And she did another really profound summit after that that I had the honor of being part of. So, yeah, what is there anything else you want to say about what you do or who you are, Kenlyn? We're so close that like what else?
Yeah, well, that's about it. But I'll tell you, we actually went further back than that. The first summit
Oh
was
yeah.
2020 when all of this started. So it's kind of cool to be here together 6 years later with you, Rose, and with everyone listening as kind of this, I don't honoring of wow. Can you believe how far we've come? Can you believe who we are now? And I think that's a beautiful way to start this off with this honoring, because we're going to go into some territory in the future that's highly unknown and dynamic and transformational and fast. And so I think what you and I are really presencing is that there's a groundedness that we get to have in who we really are
Yeah.
that's going to take us forward. And I know that's helped me. I did the same genius map to myself before I did it to anyone else. And it really did shift the nature of my work. And I think at some level, this is spirit coming through me,
Absolutely.
because I didn't plan to do this. I had no idea. It was just something that came through, and I'm seeing like, oh, yeah, this is giving us our own personal alignment and marching orders for the future
Yes.
we're going into.
Like Dristi. Dristi, is that the word? That's what it
Yeah.
feels like it's giving. Yeah, so I've done obviously lots and lots of what I would consider to be readings in the past, but this is very different because so what's different about what Kenlyn is doing is you're basically going to her and telling her what your biggest challenges or crossroads are, which I don't know anyone that came out of 2025, not going, okay, everything got busted apart. Everything I thought I knew, guidance, direction, business, love life. I mean, every area like got blown out of the water. And it was pretty destabilizing for most people, for most of us. And so it was like, okay, wait a minute, who am I? What direction do I go? How am I supposed to make money? Businesses are changing. The world is just changing, right? So rapidly. So basically, what you're doing is going to Kenlyn. You fill out a very in-depth intake form. She
My
came back,
lawyer self.
I need more. I was like, whoa, okay, I thought I did too. She's like, no, more. I was like, okay. So you do this intake, but you're basically coming to her and saying, these are my biggest challenges. Like this is what's not working anymore. And what I don't know, we talk a lot about this, Kenlyn, but I'm wondering if other people can identify with this. It feels like a lot of doors closing. It's like, okay, this door is closing and this door is closing and this. Okay, so what's left? Like, where do I go with this? Like things that I thought were so sure coming to completion. So you fill out this intake form.
Mhm.
You're telling her what your biggest challenging challenges or crossroads or areas that you want clarity in. And so that's what's different, right? I love human design and gene keys, and I find a lot of value in those. And I've had readings, and things have mostly been pretty on the surface. There wasn't a lot of guidance and direction about how do you actually implement these things? And so I can just speak from my own personal experience that these the obscure parts of these systems that nobody knows, that very few people know how to access. Those are the ones that actually are giving, like, I didn't know that buried within all of these esoteric systems is how you're supposed to make money in the most aligned way.
Mhm.
And that was one of the biggest things is that I had my whole school, the Sacred Oak Academy, and everything I do set up in a certain way. And what became very apparent was that's not how I'm supposed to make money. Yeah, that's a pretty big pivot, right? So understanding, and I don't know how much you want me to go into like I want to give you some time to speak too, but everybody has a different way of making how you're supposed to make money that's optimal for you, the environment you're supposed to live in. Another one that was really big for me is your purpose and how you're supposed to work, which for me wasn't totally clear. And now I feel like I'm locked into, okay, this makes all the sense in the world. Why? There was just these little pieces and nuggets that helped me refine who I am and my guidance and my direction, and literally helped me start sleeping again at night because my whole world got turned upside down. And it was like, wait, who am I? What am I doing? Because I was being redirected, like so many of us are. And so I know you probably have a lot to say on this, Kellen, and I'll share some of the more specifics about myself personally. But
Mhm.
are you seeing this a lot with these Genius reports and how you're doing it, or what do you want to add to this conversation?
Yeah, I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes because it's really fun as I'm discovering, what spirit is doing with me, really. These esoteric wisdom teachings are so beautiful, and I've been working with them for over 10 years. And I include astrology in there, and I just love systems. So whatever calls to me, I'll include. But I will say that what happens, and you probably know this and probably teach this inside your school, is that there's some kind of light that gets lit up around the answer to the person's question. Now, it's just my answer coming from me. And I tell everyone I'm not God, and you get to make your own decision. But this will be some kind of a catalyst, whether it catalyzes you one way or another. So for you, Rose, it was like these small, refined points that turned out to be big because you already were living so much in your design.
Yeah.
And I just showed you how you were because you had a lot going on with your daughter. And so I actually did her chart too. And I don't usually do that, but I got the hit that I needed to add that. And it often happens where I get a hit and I'll text that person and ask for a little piece of information because something wants to unravel from there. So for you, these smaller, like esoteric buried pieces became important. And for others, it could be really something else. And so I never know what will be the focal point. And that's why I asked for at least 48 hours to do this work, because it takes me usually about 3 hours and it could be longer. And I like a night to sleep on it, because I did this during the Divine Feminine Summit. I would wake up and it was like, bing, some kind of information would come through. So I just like let it ruminate, and then something comes through and I all of a sudden I find the thread and I can pull the thread. And that's like, I know when I hit it because I cry. Like the other day we have a friend in common, and I really thought I knew her, but when I got in, I realized I did not know her. And it makes me kind of cry that I'm around a person that I did not actually know until I read 3 hours of her chart.
Mm.
And now I'm like moved in my heart with such devotion of how can I support her so that everyone sees what I'm seeing right now. And that is what really makes me feel like I'm in deep service. I feel like crying because it's deep service, and you know it when you hit it. And I suspect for everyone listening, you want that for yourself. You want to be in that level of deep service. And I will admit, we have a lot of trial and error in this dimensional plane. So everything that you have tried is all fodder. Like, I need to know that, because somewhere something is hidden, waiting to be revealed. That if I can see it, I can pull it, and then you can focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. It just makes me emotional to think about it. It's like, okay, so I'm going to give everyone an example of what we're talking about. So I found out that for me to be optimal, that I'm actually supposed to make money through investments. Now, I'm a minister and I'm the founder of a mystery school. I've been doing this for a long time and deep carrier of, medicine, and that's who I am at my soul, like soul level. But that's what I'm here to disseminate a message. So that's my purpose. But the way I'm supposed to make money is through investments. And so trying to make money through disseminating a message,
Mm,
that door closed. It was like everything changed in my whole reality.
mm,
So it was so helpful to understand that I'm supposed to make money. The way I'm designed best is to actually bring in money through investments, which is so true. And so since I've been studying investing, that's how I've made all my money. And
mm,
what is so cool is that that now gives me money to be able to focus on and disseminating a message, because that's my soul's purpose. So I am designed, and my whole adult life, as soon as I had a message to share, it's been very easy for me to find an audience or attract an audience or build followers, or because I'm designed to do that. So it's easy for me. It comes naturally. Now, I see a lot of people trying to be like, an influencer or disseminate a message when that's not actually what they're here to do. So they're hitting their head against a wall, like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Right. So a good friend of ours, she's another example. She had a private practice and also would put on these big group coaching programs, and that door came to a close. And it's like, what the heck? Why is this closing? Why is this completely drying up? Well, looking at her chart, she's not supposed to be making money through working with people one-on-one. So of course that had to come to an end to reveal really what she's here to do. Like, to me, when I look at this, all of this, I
mm,
just think I can see and imagine a world where we're all optimally working as what we came here to do. And that's how I think the world is actually going to work, that we're going to fix the problems that are not working. So these old systems are crumbling, and it's make or break for us to come into soul alignment so that we can operate optimally. So we figured out, you want to tell them about our friend and what you discovered. I'm part of this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
part of this. But what you discovered through her chart that was so helpful for her?
Yeah. And I think this work is kind of edgy. This is going to be an edgy
Oh,
example, because sometimes I have to deliver a pivot.
yeah.
And it's because I have a lot of warrior in me that I get to do that because I will speak the truth. And I will disclaim that, I'm not God. So there's that. But I will put a stake in the ground for you. I was trained a long time ago as an attorney that people aren't paying you to perseverate and go, well, there's this. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. They're paying you to like nail it, put
Yeah.
a stake in the ground. So with this person, she came to me. I've actually hired this person before. We've worked together since my summits, and her business radically shifted. And I just love her very much. And she came to me and said, I really, really think I could use this. So I dove into her chart and I could immediately feel the power that is resonant in her being. And I'm like, whoa, this person is not made for one on one interactions. There's too much power. This person is made for a stage. She's made for group transformation. So I got deeply into it. And her question to me was, can you basically help me with my marketing? And I shifted her marketing. She was marketing with a different flavor. Like I have the flavor of marketing where I share about my embodied experience, but that's not for everyone. And a lot of coaches out there will say, just tell your story. I love everyone's story. I think everyone's story is gold. And there are people who are built to say very evocative, provocative things because they are change agents. Like Rose is one of them. And so she was trying to tell stories more like I should market and not marketing her way. But that really didn't pull the thread for me. That was one piece. And she was like, oh, that's exciting. That's awesome. So if I just change this, everything's going to work, right? And I was like, no, actually, you got the wrong avatar. And so I created a picture for her of a new place to go, which involved groups and even large organizations. And you should have seen her face drop. And I'm sitting across from it, kind of going like, I can't believe it. I hope I don't lose this friend. And I hope she doesn't hate me for telling her this because she really wanted a particular outcome.
Yeah, we can get so attached to how we think that things are supposed to be. And so I think that this was a pretty big pivot that you were suggesting and pretty confronting. Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so it has a good ending. So I did have to go through the fire with her for a while as she adjusted. And really, the download I got for her was be patient with yourself. I just pivoted you. There's a big revolution happening, and she has such revolutionary codes. And so she did. She sat with it. And then here's the kicker, which then really, and I told her we prayed before our call. So I am not going to go back on any of this because we prayed. So we have to trust that what was being uttered out of my mouth came from spirit. So you wrestle with it and then you tell me what you come to. So I don't know, maybe a month later, she reached out and said, I think you'd be really happy to know this, but I'm now on the side of the pivot. I get it. And what you probably don't know is that I have a master's degree in the area that you told me to pivot. And I was like, oh my goddess, it's
Yeah.
all right there.
Well, I feel like a lot of times when we've talked about this is that the thing that we're supposed to be doing, it's almost too like there's pieces to it where it's right under our nose or it's very close, or maybe we've even pushed it away or it seemed too obvious, or we can't see it like we're just too close to it. And it takes somebody to be like, no, it's this and this and this. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, that makes all the sense in the world. Um, yeah, what's funny is that I was actually talking about our other friend,
Oh,
but this one, that
I think I'm
story.
going to do another pivot on that friend too. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, the other friend I was thinking of, like, she's meant to work within organizations and help with like refining. And so here that was my friend our friend that I was talking about that was working like in a private practice. The reason I mention this is because a lot of people think, oh, I'm supposed to have a private practice, a one-on-one practice, and why isn't it working? And why isn't it working? And that's what happened to our friend. And she is now getting trained in chaplaincy and wants to go and make like organizational change. And it's totally different from her having a private practice and
Oh, that friend. Okay, yeah. That's even
yes,
another friend.
yes. So, there's things like that where if what you're doing, this is at a time where I can guarantee you if something isn't working, it's because you're being redirected. And it's just becoming where before we could kind of limp along or make a business work or whatever. Now the stakes are higher because a lot of us feel that, the energies that are orchestrating behind the scenes are really facilitating us to get into motion, get into alignment, get into action. Like it's like make or break right now. And so having to pivot from, whatever's not working into what's working. And that's what I appreciate about this genius mapping is that Kenlyn can actually show you, oh, it's supposed to be this, this, and this. And what she did with my genius report is actually gave me, it was so beautiful. And again, each one is very, very different. I'll say this, so it doesn't mean you're going to have this. It's really customized to what you need and what your challenges are. Mine, a lot of it was about my daughter and some really big things shifting in my life. But she gave me three scenarios, and it was like, there's this one, or this one. And I don't know, it was kind of, and I'm in the first one, which is like a no-brainer, but I'm also leaving space for like there's just some things in my world that have to like shake out that some of them I don't have control over. So I'm being open to number two and number three, but if it's only number one, I have guidance, I have clarity, I have direction, and that's beautiful and perfect. But also holding space for number two, and ultimately, I know I'm going to be going to number three at some point. So it was cool to go, okay, it's almost like it gave me a place to rest. Like, okay, I can rest in this. I'm on track. I know where I'm going. I know what it looks like. So that I can stop thinking about it because I was thinking about all the time, like trying to weigh options and trying to figure it out. So it really helped me to, I think, relax into a lot of surrender around it and just clarity, like, okay, I'm on track. And um, I can already see, as you know, because we track each other so closely, the second scenario is like right there. It's so close. And I can be patient and wait for number one, the first scenario. So anyway, there's so many things I can mention about the mapping. It's like a 90-minute call, and you get this report, which I was just telling her I was just reading through parts of mine this morning because every time I read through it, I get another piece. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so true, right? So just to feel seen and validated in my experience, but there's parts in this report that I've literally never heard anywhere before. And I've never known that has been a real guiding light in my life. Like, okay, this gives me guidance and direction so that whatever is happening out there and the craziness of the world and the politics and the AI and all the stuff that's coming down the pipeline, I know my drishti. I know I'm probably mispronouncing it. Drishti, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Drishti. Yeah.
Drishti. Um, and I have an anchor, I have a North Star, so I know the direction that I'm moving in for my next. evolution and unfolding. And so, anyway, I've just really appreciated it. And
Mhm.
I know some people from my community have already done a session with you. And so I just wanted to have you on and introduce you more closely, more intimately to my community. And because I know that a lot of people need this right now, I know how helpful it is to have some guidance and clarity at this incredible threshold that we're in.
Yeah, thank you, Rose, for sharing this. I'm honored to be working with anyone who feels called, and I think Rose will provide the link, or I'll provide the link if it's to my community. Um, yeah, this is our moment, really. When everything falls apart, you can finally be who you really are.
Oh, oh, isn't that so true? Yeah, I will say that even after how hard 2025 was for me personally, and so many people that I know, and so many people in our community, I feel more myself than ever and more aware and trusting of my path and who I'm here to be than ever. So in some ways, it was the most successful year, right? And this was a piece of that puzzle for me. So yeah, it's an incredible time of growth that we have available to us right now on this planet. And we can choose to embrace it and make the most of it and say, okay, I'm gonna flow with the current of life where it's taking me in this crazy journey, this adventure that we're on, or we can fight against the currents. And you know, I I see family members and friends and community members fighting against the current or attached to who they used to be, and I see the ones that are flowing with the current. And so I'm really taking a stand for more of us flowing with the current because it's such an intense time. So thank you so much, Kenlyn, for sharing this beautiful work and coming on to say hi and share with my community. I just so appreciate you. And just wanted to say hello to everybody out there. Thank you for joining us. And I will include the link to Kenlyn's work. And of course, if you have any questions, you can reach out to her directly about that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you,
Blessing.
Rose.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bless
everyone.
everyone.
Mwah.
Bye.